Good morning. Today is the 26th of October 2023 and I'm going to go over my trading plan for today. On my screen we're going to look at the economic, see what's moving the market today, and you can see high importance. We had 8:30 some news, which was a relatively biggish move off of the 8:30 data drop. Other news we've got today, we've got 10 AM to keep an eye out on for pending home sales. I'm looking for 2 out of 3s, and that's it really for the rest of the day. You've got other news as well, but nothing which should move the market. So 10 AM is the next time to keep an eye out. So on my screen we're looking at the daily for the S&P index futures. This is the MES chart. You can also use the ES chart, they're both the same. I trade the mini micros, so I use the MES. One big significant thing, we've now, just put that back, move my moving average. Oh yeah, there it goes. So the 200 moving average now, we have definitive close below the 200 moving average, so any long swing plays I'd be a bit wary about right now. Once we're below the 200 on the index, on the futures, then that's usually a sign that we're going to be a bit bearish, and I probably won't want to take any more long swing trades. However, there is one long I'm watching, but it's an inverse long until we get back above the 200 moving average, so just be a bit wary of that. And we broke the level we was watching as well yesterday pretty conclusively, big push through, and I think I said in my pre-market video yesterday that if we close below this area or close below the previous few days' highs and lows, then the market looks like it could be in trouble for a bit, and I believe it is. So we've seen a bit of a rally at the moment, but I think you see why I think we're going to push back down, because I'm just going to bring in the level 2 for ES. We've just chomped our way through. There's about 400 contracts sitting there, and we saw this big buyer came in, but we weren't able to get past this 580 contracts. So there's almost 1,000 contracts in this area, which is quite a lot, and you usually see 200s, 300s, 400s, and another area to note is this area of 507 contracts or orders sitting at 41.81, and that brings me to my levels for today. Let's go into the hourly. So this is the hourly chart for the MES, and I've got a couple of areas I'm watching. Yesterday we tried to break 41.80, and you see we consolidated down there, poked through a few times in the post-market, sorry not yesterday, I mean in the pre-market, and we just couldn't quite break through. And you can see we've got quite, I just showed you there's a big area of orders sitting around here as well. So if we can get through that area, what I'm watching for is a bounce potentially around 41.50 through to 41.60. That's going to be a higher probability bounce, and these levels go back to almost April, May this year. So I'm watching this area for a bounce, 41.50. It also coincides with an area on SPY, this area down here at 44.10. So that's another area I'm watching too. So they're kind of both, if they're both around that area, I'll be looking for a bounce. And we are due a little bit of a bounce anyway. However, I think if we do see a bounce, it will be pretty short-lived. So it'll be more of a scalp than a get in and hold. I've got a level, I've just added an extra level. In fact, I was watching the low of this demand zone as a supply zone now, but 42.0750 is an area I was keeping an eye on, and 42.18. These was the lows from Monday, but what I'm interested in now is probably a rejection at the 42.04 to 4200 area, and I'm going to be watching that for a potential rejection. Again, looking at the level 2, you can see that we've got a lot of potential sellers sitting up here as well. So it could act as a natural area of resistance, and I think maybe what we're going to see is the market's going to push up to that area, and then we're going to see a bit of rejection in the rest of the day. But like I said, we're below the 200 on the daily now, so my bias is going to be more towards shorts and longs, but I will play the chart as I see it. I'll look for confirmation as well, because we're so close to that area. It's a higher risk play, but I'll wait for confirmation. But don't forget, we are in an hourly downtrend, we're in a daily downtrend, and so the trend is kind of will help go towards a relatively, what did I say, the trend is your friend basically. I hate the cliche, but it is. So it might be easy to take a short at that level. It would be try to counter trend at the bottom. So just to recap, I'm going to be watching this area for a potential short. So it's a big area, 42.04 all the way through to 42.17, but obviously watching where we are right now, which is 4200, and that's a big psychological number. So, and we know at 4202 we've got all those orders sitting there waiting, and I'm looking to go long at 4150 to 4160, this area down here. So these are the two areas I'm watching. Yeah, I think that's it really. That's if we see a bit of a rally today, then the next area I quite like is up here at 4280. Potentially we got this area of confluence as well at 4250. That's an area I took a nice break and retest of yesterday. So it's an area I've been watching for a while as well. So 42 is a potential rejection area, and that's a neckline on that daily wedge pattern. But I think if we do rally, I like this area 4280. That's the area to watch for. And that's it really on SPY. On ES. Just one thing to note as well, if we do rally and we get up to this area, we've got quite a lot of volume just above as well. So 4260. So this entire area could be an area of natural resistance. That's it. Okay, so SPY. Okay, it's coming up to an area I'm watching as well. Been on watch 417 to 418 is the area I want to watch for a rejection. We've got the bottoms of Monday, or the pre-market Monday, and we consolidate, and as you can see, we consolidate in this area for some time, so it is an area of interest. So 417 rejection, higher risk, higher probability would be around 425 area, 424. So that's an area for a higher probability rejection. As for bounces, as we said earlier, 410 is the only place really. So if we get down to 410 to 411, then that's an area to watch for a bounce. And of course we've got the reject at 417. And we're right at that location right now, so that's a very high risk trade. Qs. Okay, so it's a good area there, 351 to 352 area for a rejection, and that's not a bad area. And we've got 360 as a rejection area. They're my two favourite areas I'll be watching. And for a bounce, we're going back a bit now. This area here, and we just, so 340 basically, 339. That's a big gap. So look at, if we do break this area, if we could watch for a break and retest actually. If we can get back down through here and we pull back into 347 area, we could potentially watch for a retest with a target of 339, 340 area, and that will be a bounce area as well. Quite a big void if we get below this, so potentially there may be a bit of a move down to watch for. And they're the only levels really I'm watching on Qs. NQ is the same. Let's just find a bounce area. Got that area there, that's where we are. I think up in that area there. So 14,000. If we can get down to 14,000, I like that for a bounce. It's a nice round psychological number as well. fairly sure it's the 200 on the daily as well. Let's have a quick look. Oh no, look at that, we poked the 200 on the daily, so 14,000 we would have to break the 200. Remember, we've broken the ES 200, so if the ES is below the 200 moving average, then more likely we're looking at a short until we can get above the 200 again. So let's go back to the hourly. So 1400 for a bounce, that's quite far way down. 1410, I think that's closer to the 200 moving. We could see a bounce around that area. And potentially we've got 14,500 for a potential rejection. It's a round number as well, psychological number. Not much volume in there on this chart, just zoom out a bit. Yeah, it's a bit of a void, so I think it's going to be a tricky one. So 14,517 is the only place I can really see as a potential rejection. That would be the lows from Monday. So watching 14,500, yeah, that area, and we see we consolidated there for a bit as well, and we've got potentially a double bottom at 14,250. I usually say last but not least for oil, but I've added one more futures chart I'm watching. I'll get to that in a second. Oil, quite like this area. We're getting close to it again. Potentially, we're seeing some higher highs, higher low, higher high, higher low. We could potentially see a big push up. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm not sure. 82.34 to 82 is an area I want to watch for a bounce, but maybe a break and retest of 85.50. So if we can come back up, push that level, we could see it the next move back up. I'll play this by ear, but I can't really see any clear levels right now. There's a bit of resistance at 85.50, and 82 is the only area I can see a bounce. 82 to 81. Okay, and then if we want to see a rejection, again, it's looking strong still on the daily. It's just a little pullback on the daily. It's got to be around this area, 88 or 80 or 90 area. These are areas to watch for a rejection. Areas we watched for before, and we had a nice rejection. But let's look at it on the daily again. You can see on the daily, we put a strong move up. It's another strong move up, pulled back, so healthy pullback into this area, and we're just back down. So potentially I'm waiting for a breakout. I think heading toward, yeah, I think if we can get back down, you can see we've got this engulfing candle on the daily as well, but we've got bottom. The reason I'm hesitant, it's engulfing but with bottom tails, and we've had a bit of increased volume in the last few days as well. So potentially that increased volume means there's buyers around at this area, and we may see it push back up. So I think let's wait until it gets to 86. I may look to go long as a swing. This is the only long I'd consider. I wouldn't consider anything else. And one last chart I'm keeping an eye on now is gold, and this is the micros gold futures MGC. And what I quite like, it looks like it's putting in a bit of a squeeze along there, and watching for a breakout above 2000. So I've got my alert in just below 2000, so if we get back up there, I'm going to look to go long gold. And in theory, as I go long gold, the market will come down. That's what I'm watching for. But we'll be consolidating. We're consolidated over these pivots as well, and looks like we're just eating time off the clock, ready to make a break. So I'm keeping an eye on gold. I appreciate there's a couple of topping tails, but I like these bottom tails more, and you can see increased volume as well coming in. So big pushes up as we got through these pivots. I think, yeah, if we do go long, then I'm watching for 2080 as a potential target. We've got natural resistance here, and I say that because we've got the point of control line, and you see a higher concentrated volume as well. So the stop loss could be just below this pivot, exactly where this point of control is. and that is at 1965. And then we can trail maybe the daily pivot up, or the daily candles up. I think that's what I'm watching for anyway. Okay, so back to MES. We can see the 4200 level still holding, no follow through, so I don't think, doesn't look like, well, 42's gone, but 4202's holding, and that should coincide with a level on my chart. Oh, not far off it. 4203, that's the area I'm watching. So it's, like I said in all my videos, it's not a line, it's an area to watch for. So, here we go, we're going a big, lots of buyers coming in right now. Still any follow through. Let's just zoom in to see what's going on. So what we're watching for is this 4202 number. 475 has gone down from about 500 and wasn't able to break through it. Let's just see. We've got 15 minutes till the market opens. I think we're getting to a point. There's one more stock I wanted to show you. I just wanted to see what happens. I just want to watch this decrement down. 4202. No, it wasn't able to break it. Anyway, let's go back to my last one. There is only one more long I'd consider, or potentially two longs, and that is SPXS, which is the S&P Bear ETF. And basically bear means it's the inverse of the actual S&P 500 or the SPY, and I quite like the SQQQ, which is also the bear, the short version of the Qs, and I'm looking for a potential swing entry. You can see on the hourly we've had a bit of a pullback. If we can get back down to 21.85, I'm probably looking to go long, but I'll wait for the open and see what happens. But I've got a feeling the open's going to push up and it's going to reject, and that's when I want to take maybe a month out on the one of these contracts, one or both. I'm not decided which one yet. The ES looks the weaker of the two, so I might just use the SPXS as my swing long. And basically it's long because it's a bear contract, so it's basically it's betting that the S&P is short, that it's going to be short. So it goes against the trend. So against the so if you turn this chart upside down, you basically got what the S&P looks like. And that's it really. I'll just recap my levels for ES. I'm looking for a potential rejection at 4204 and 4217 area. This is it. Anywhere in this I'm looking for a rejection, and the closer it is to where it's now, like the 4204 is higher risk. We've just seen that there's a bit of a barrier there at the moment with this big area, 504 orders, so it could be natural resistance, but we'll see on the open. And then I'm looking for a bounce at 4150 to 4160 area. So basically quite simple, just two areas I'm watching for, and the key is patience, and I'm going to try and be patient with this. Okay, thank you for watching. Apologise for the noise in the background. I've got my house being cleaned at the moment, and I will see you either in the Discord room where we will go through the levels live and trade live, or in my end of day video. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll be back here tomorrow at 9 AM Eastern time. Don't forget to hit the like button as well. It helps the Google algorithms or the YouTube algorithms to help you find the videos faster, and it helps me as well. Okay, thanks.